The moment Prince Harry allegedly saw the photograph, the room went silent. Not awkward silent, not confused silent. The kind of silence that crashes into your chest when your entire understanding of someone suddenly starts falling apart in real time. Because according to insiders circling what they now call the Trevor Files, this was not just another bitter ex-husband story. This was supposedly the discovery of a private vision board so disturbing, so obsessively detailed, that even people inside Montecito reportedly stopped speaking for several seconds after seeing the images attached to it. Names, palace photographs, red circles around royal residences, clippings of Diana, handwritten notes about London, and right in the center, years before she ever met him, a printed photograph of Prince Harry.
To the eyes between the king and his youngest born right now. Harry didn't even...
Dan, this is not the only one from Trevor, and this other person could make a lot of money as well.
It's an opportunity, a better opportunity, and Trev is... Yes.
Change is happening, because if you're reading something terrible about a woman, why are you sharing it with your friends?
We're not talking of some sort of little snowflake who will leave companies at the drop of the hat. We're talking
this to several times in the house as teenagers, we would smell this really weird smell coming from downstairs.
The Duchess of Sussex also ironed out childcare details in order to ensure that Engelson was happy to pay.
Who was just using opportunities to advance herself. Her brand wasn't one built on substance. It was based on using people, and this is no surprise.
For me, they said, Link, you need to have one of those taste testers like the president has, allegedly, like people who test your food, you know.
That she demanded her husband, Trevor, pay for a personal trainer and a nutritionist to help her balance two of them.
These pics are from their romantic vacations in Mykonos, Greece, and Mexico. Kensington Palace officially...
Yes, that Trevor Engelson was at all attempting to turn on his ex.
To me, they won't let me call myself Her Royal Highness anymore, but I'm gonna put it all over my stationery and on the gifts that I give to my friends.
Why do we always have to be sold a fake?
Meghan Markle's ex-husband Trevor Engelson is expecting his first child. The director and producer announced on Instagram
a picture of Meghan in the studio. He also had pictures with Diana and Charles in his younger days.
Thrilled she became a, quote, princess.
Well, you can...
It was planned from the beginning. She denied being interested in
back if and when they conceived. The Duchess of Sussex also ironed out childcare details in order to ensure that...
For 13 years, Trevor Engelson said almost nothing publicly. That is what makes this entire thing so dangerous now. Loud people are easy to dismiss. Angry people expose themselves too quickly. But Trevor allegedly did the opposite. He disappeared. He remarried. He built a quieter life. He let the world turn Meghan Markle into a global figure while he stayed in the background watching every interview, every documentary, every carefully polished sentence about accidentally falling into royal life. And according to people now connected to this rumored publishing storm, Trevor never forgot one specific afternoon inside their old Toronto apartment. An afternoon that at the time felt strange, but in 2026 allegedly feels catastrophic. Because insiders claim that years before the royal wedding, before the blind date, before the palace balcony appearances, Trevor once walked into a spare room and found Meghan standing in front of what looked like a motivational wall. At first glance, it allegedly appeared harmless. Magazine covers, luxury homes, charity galas, expensive fashion campaigns, Hollywood power couples. But Trevor reportedly noticed one section looked completely different from the rest. Less ambition, more fixation. British flags, Diana Spencer photographs, Buckingham Palace gates, royal family trees printed from internet pages, and one phrase allegedly written in black marker beside a young Prince Harry photograph, the modern Diana story. Nobody supposedly understood what that sentence meant back then. But according to insiders, Trevor never forgot it.
To two houses of Congress go down in Montecito, California, with Harry and Meghan.
Now here is where this story allegedly becomes unbearable inside Montecito, because sources claim the vision board was not recently discovered. It was preserved, quietly. digitally. Trevor allegedly photographed parts of it during the collapse of their marriage after what insiders describe as a growing sense that Meghan was not simply planning a career. She was planning an elevation, a transformation, something much larger than Hollywood itself. And the reason Prince Harry is supposedly shaken is because of one specific detail buried inside the board that insiders claim nobody expected to surface: a timeline. According to publishing whispers now moving through both London and Los Angeles, Trevor's material allegedly contains handwritten goal projections connected to specific years, not vague dreams, specific windows: UK transition, public image reset, global platform, humanitarian marriage possibility, and then, allegedly underneath all of it, a line that has reportedly horrified royal insiders because of how coldly calculated it sounded once Harry supposedly read it himself. The monarchy survives through emotion. Become the emotion. That line reportedly changed everything because suddenly former interviews started sounding different. The Diana comparison started feeling heavier. The constant references to media persecution, paparazzi trauma, and palace cruelty allegedly began to look less spontaneous and more rehearsed in hindsight. And according to insiders, Harry's reaction was not explosive rage. It was worse. Confusion. Real confusion. The kind that hits when someone begins mentally replaying years of conversations trying to figure out what was real and what may have been part of a larger performance.
It's the alliance between Charles's errant second son, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, and his wife.
Sources now claim Harry spent nearly an entire evening isolated inside the Montecito property after hearing details connected to the alleged board. One former staff member supposedly described him pacing near the patio area, repeatedly asking the same question under his breath: how long did she think about this? Not yelling, not screaming, just stunned. Because according to people close to the situation, the most devastating part was not the existence of ambition. Harry himself understands ambition. Royal life is built on ambition. The frightening part was the precision. Trevor allegedly preserved screenshots of old emails discussing London networking opportunities years before Meghan publicly claimed she knew very little about the royal family. One insider even claims there were old bookmarked articles involving royal succession rankings and palace public approval ratings saved on a laptop tied to their Toronto years together. And suddenly, that famous narrative, the casual actress who stumbled innocently into a fairy tale romance, allegedly started collapsing under the weight of timestamps.
Ice. Not even the ice in Siberia, Alaska compares to the ice between the king and...
But according to sources, the true panic inside Montecito began when Trevor's rumored manuscript allegedly entered legal review earlier this year, because the publishers were not supposedly interested in revenge. They wanted chronology, receipts, patterns. They allegedly told Trevor they did not need dramatic accusations. They needed sequence, a documented trail showing how Meghan's fascination with royal branding evolved over time. And insiders claim that is exactly what Trevor delivered. The strangest part of this entire alleged collapse is that according to insiders, the vision board itself was never originally meant to become public. Trevor Engelson reportedly kept it buried for years alongside hundreds of forgotten digital files connected to their marriage. But sources claim everything changed after the pressure inside Montecito allegedly reached levels even longtime staff members had never witnessed before. By early 2026, the atmosphere around Harry and Meghan was reportedly no longer tense in the ordinary celebrity sense. It had allegedly become paranoid. Staff turnover exploded. Advisors vanished. Calls stopped getting returned. And according to former insiders, the moment Trevor's material started circulating quietly among publishing executives, something inside the Sussex operation shifted from confidence into pure survival mode. Because suddenly, this was no longer about bad press. Bad press can be managed. Hollywood scandals fade every week. But according to people close to the unfolding situation, what terrified the Montecito team was the possibility that Trevor's files could permanently alter the public perception of Meghan's entire relationship with Harry. Not because the alleged evidence proved criminal behavior, not because it exposed some palace conspiracy, but because it allegedly painted a psychological picture so detailed that people might never see the love story the same way again. Sources now claim one section of Trevor's rumored manuscript allegedly focuses entirely on transformation, the evolution from struggling actress into what insiders describe as a constructed global identity. And buried inside that section, according to whispers now moving through royal media circles, are references to private conversations Meghan allegedly had years before Harry entered the picture. Conversations about influence, status, purpose, symbolism, legacy, not movie star fame, something bigger, something institutional. According to one publishing source, Trevor supposedly became unsettled during their marriage by how often discussions about Hollywood success allegedly circled back toward power instead of art, toward visibility instead of fulfillment, toward historical relevance instead of happiness. Not the famous one insiders already described. Another one allegedly stored digitally after the divorce. This one reportedly more focused, more polished, more disturbing. Sources claim it included Diana headlines, photographs of royal tours, newspaper cutouts involving public sympathy metrics surrounding the monarchy, and notes allegedly describing how emotional narratives reshape public loyalty faster than institutional authority ever could. One insider connected to the alleged manuscript review even claimed there were highlighted phrases involving media martyrdom and global humanitarian branding. And according to people close to Harry, this is the point where things supposedly became deeply personal for him. Because if there is one emotional wound that has defined Prince Harry's entire adult life, it is Diana. Everything reportedly circles back to Diana. The pain, the anger, the protection instinct, the hatred of the press. And insiders now claim Harry allegedly became physically shaken after hearing Trevor's material repeatedly reference Diana not emotionally, but strategically, not as family tragedy, as image power. One former insider allegedly described the atmosphere inside Montecito after the rumors intensified as a marriage replaying itself backwards in real time. Every interview supposedly became a source of tension. Every old clip turned into forensic evidence online. The Oprah special, the documentary scenes, the royal accusations. Even the famous engagement interview allegedly started being re-examined by people searching for signs that Meghan's fascination with royal life existed long before she publicly admitted it. And according to insiders, Harry reportedly became obsessed with one specific question after hearing about Trevor's preserved timeline. Did she already know exactly who I was before we met? That question allegedly changed the emotional balance inside the mansion overnight, because people close to the couple now claim Harry's greatest fear is not betrayal in the ordinary sense. It is manipulation. The idea that his emotional vulnerabilities, his isolation from the royal family, his unresolved grief surrounding Diana, his hatred of media intrusion may have made him uniquely predictable to someone already studying the institution from the outside. And according to one former staff member, the alleged vision board transformed Trevor from an irrelevant ex-husband into something far more dangerous, a witness with timestamps. But the story reportedly becomes even darker behind closed doors because insiders claim Meghan allegedly views the entire situation as coordinated destruction. According to sources, she reportedly believes Trevor's sudden reappearance into the narrative is not random timing. She allegedly suspects powerful royal interests quietly encouraged the environment, allowing these rumors to explode publicly while King Charles reestablished himself internationally. Whether that belief is true or not almost becomes irrelevant because former staffers describe the alleged atmosphere inside Montecito as increasingly consumed by suspicion. Legal reviews, internal leaks, loyalty concerns, endless discussions about who spoke to whom. And then came what insiders now describe as the Buckingham photograph, not the vision board. The actual photograph Trevor allegedly preserved from the early 1990s showing teenage Meghan standing outside Buckingham Palace. But according to whispers tied to the manuscript review, the real shock was reportedly what was written on the back of the image. One publishing insider claims Trevor allegedly discovered handwritten notes attached to the photo years later during their marriage, notes describing the palace as unfinished destiny. Another alleged phrase reportedly referenced entering through history, not Hollywood. Now, whether those claims are real, exaggerated, or completely distorted by gossip no longer even matters to the people watching this unfold because the public imagination has already taken over. And according to royal insiders, that is precisely why Harry allegedly feels trapped, because disproving rumors built around emotional symbolism is almost impossible once people emotionally connect the dots themselves. Meanwhile, the silence surrounding Trevor himself has reportedly become deafening. No interviews, no denials, no dramatic social media posts. According to insiders, that silence is exactly what makes the entire thing more frightening inside Montecito, because every hour Trevor refuses to publicly comment allegedly creates the impression that something bigger is still coming. Publishing rumors now suggest the manuscript may not even focus primarily on scandals. Instead, it allegedly focuses on patterns, behavioral evolution, personal reinvention, identity construction. And according to one source, the final chapters supposedly frame Meghan not as a villain, but as someone who became consumed by the idea of rewriting herself into history at any cost. That framing allegedly devastated Harry even more, because according to people close to him, Harry genuinely believed their relationship represented escape, freedom from palace games, freedom from manipulation, freedom from strategy. But if Trevor's material successfully convinces the public that Meghan had spent years psychologically orbiting royal symbolism before meeting him, then suddenly Harry no longer looks like the rebellious prince who chose love over institution. He allegedly risks looking like the final target in a plan already decades in the making.